The unlikely hero, the girl in the shadows. In the gritty underbelly of New York City, 17-year-old Lila scraped by, living in a makeshift shelter of cardboard and tarp beneath a rusted overpass. Her clothes were tattered, her face smudged with dirt, but her eyes burned with a quiet resilience. She'd been homeless since she was 12, surviving on wit, grit, and the occasional kindness of strangers. Lila had learned to blend into the city's chaos, unnoticed by the bustling crowds above. One chilly November evening, while scavenging for food near an upscale warehouse district, Lila heard muffled shouts from an alley. Curiosity tugged at her, though caution screamed to stay away. Creeping closer, she peered around a dumpster. Two men in black masks were dragging a young man, bound and gagged, into an unmarked van. His tailored suit and polished shoes screamed wealth, but his panicked eyes told a different story. Lila's heart raced. She'd seen enough of the streets to know this was trouble. Kidnapping, likely for ransom. She should walk away. This wasn't her fight. But something about the young man's desperate struggle stirred her. Against her better judgment, she decided to follow. The billionaire's plight. Ethan Caldwell, 25, was the youngest tech billionaire in the country, founder of a revolutionary AI startup. His life was a whirlwind of boardrooms, galas, and headlines until now. Drugged and snatched from his penthouse's private garage, he awoke to find himself bound in the back of a van, his smartwatch disabled and his phone gone. His kidnappers, professionals by the look of their coordinated moves, hadn't spoken a word about their motives. But Ethan knew his wealth made him a target. As the van sped through the city, Ethan's mind raced for an escape plan. He tested the ropes binding his wrists, but they were tight, cutting into his skin. His only hope was to stay sharp and wait for an opportunity. Little did he know, a pair of sharp eyes was already tracking the van from a distance. Lila, perched on a stolen bicycle she'd borrowed from a nearby rack, pedaled hard to keep up. The van wove through traffic, eventually pulling into an abandoned warehouse on the city's outskirts. Lila ditched the bike and crept closer, her small frame slipping through a broken window. Inside, she saw Ethan tied to a chair, surrounded by three masked men barking orders into a burner phone. The plan. Lila's pulse pounded, but she forced herself to think clearly. She'd survived the streets by being resourceful, and this was no different. The warehouse was a maze of crates and machinery, perfect for staying hidden. She overheard snippets of the kidnappers' conversation, something about a $50 million ransom and a 48-hour deadline. Ethan's face was bruised but defiant, his jaw set as he glared at his captors. Lila knew she couldn't take on three armed men alone. She needed a plan. Scouring the warehouse, she found a rusty crowbar, a half-empty can of spray paint, and a discarded lighter. An idea formed. She'd create a diversion, something chaotic enough to give Ethan a chance to break free. Using the spray paint, Lila scrawled a fake gang tag on a crate near the entrance, then doused a pile of old rags with a splash of flammable liquid from a nearby canister. She lit the rags, letting smoke billow through the warehouse. As the kidnapper shouted in alarm, she darted to a circuit breaker and flipped the main switch, plunging the place into darkness. The escape. The warehouse erupted in chaos. The kidnappers cursed, fumbling for flashlights as smoke stung their eyes. Lila, moving like a ghost, slipped behind Ethan and used the crowbar to pry loose the ropes binding his wrists. "Move," she whispered, her voice sharp but steady. Ethan, stunned but quick to react, followed her lead. They crawled through the maze of crates, Lila guiding him toward the broken window. One of the kidnappers spotted them, firing a wild shot that splintered a wooden beam overhead. Lila grabbed Ethan's arm, yanking him down as she hurled the crowbar at the shooter's legs. The man stumbled, giving them just enough time to dive through the window. Outside, they sprinted toward the bike. "Get on," Lila shouted, pedaling as Ethan clung to her waist. The kidnapper's van roared to life behind them, but Lila knew these streets better than anyone. She cut through alleys and side streets, losing the van in the city's labyrinth. An unlikely alliance? They stopped in a deserted lot, both gasping for breath. Ethan stared at Lila, his mind reeling. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "Nobody," Lila muttered, wiping sweat from her brow. "Just someone who couldn't walk away." Ethan, still shaken, explained his situation. The kidnappers were likely hired by a rival company desperate to sabotage his upcoming AI launch. He needed to get to a safe house and contact his security team, but his face was too recognizable, and the kidnappers were still out there. Lila, despite her instincts to disappear, agreed to help him reach the safe house across the city. As they moved through the night, Ethan saw the world through Lila's eyes. The hidden corners of the city, the makeshift communities of the homeless, the constant hustle to survive. He was struck by her courage and resourcefulness, qualities no amount of money could buy. In turn, Lila saw something in Ethan, a determination to do more than just survive, to build something that could change the world. The safe house. After hours of dodging police patrols and suspicious glances, they reached Ethan's safe house, a nondescript apartment stocked with tech and security measures. Ethan contacted his team, who swept in to secure the location. As they pieced together the kidnapping plot, Ethan learned the mastermind was a former partner who'd been ousted from the company for unethical practices. Lila, uncomfortable in the sterile luxury of the safe house, prepared to slip away. But Ethan stopped her. "You saved my life," he said, his voice earnest. "I don't even know your name." "Lila," she said quietly, avoiding his gaze. "Lila, I owe you. Owe you everything. Let me help you, whatever you need." She shook her head. "I don't need your money. Just don't forget what it's like out there." A new beginning. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's company thwarted the sabotage attempt, and his AI launch was a global success. But he couldn't shake Lila's words. He tracked her down not with charity, but with an offer, a job at his company, using her street smarts to consult on real-world applications for his tech. Lila, wary but intrigued, accepted on one condition: that he fund a program to help homeless youth like her. The unlikely duo became partners, bridging two worlds that rarely intersected. Lila, once invisible, found her voice, and Ethan, once untouchable, found his purpose. Together, they proved that heroes can come from the most unexpected places. The end.